Most of us hope that, should the moment arise, we'd all be willing to help an animal in need. That said, some rescues pose a greater challenge than, say, retrieving a scaredy cat from a tree. While dogs and cats aren't always easy to handle, at least they fit inside most standard-sized animal carriers and can be transported to the nearest veterinary hospital without much issue. Larger animals, as you can imagine, do not offer the same luxury. That was no more apparent than when a bull elephant in Kenya fell into some pretty serious mud. The elephant was exhausted from trying to escape, and his rescuers feared they wouldn't be able to pull it off this time. It goes without saying that most people would do just about anything in their power to help an animal in need. In fact, some people consider it their duty as human beings to help less fortunate creatures. Also, if you have not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell to get inspired by these real-life stories every day. Now, back to the story. There is one problem, however. Not all animal rescues are created equal. They all require different sets of skills and plans of action. And, like all endeavors, some animals are much easier to save than others. Dogs and cats, for example, are relatively easy to corral. All you need is a team with experience and the right equipment. Even if it's an unusual creature, or if the animal in need is small enough, like this itty-bitty ermine, things typically end well. But tiny domesticated animals aren't the only ones in need of rescue. Animals in the wild often get themselves into precarious situations that may require the help from humans to escape. Such was the case with one creature in Africa recently. This gigantic bull elephant at the Luo Wildlife Conservancy in Kenya was in desperate need of help when he found himself in serious danger. Out looking for water, the elephant found a well, but he quickly lost his footing while at its edge. Before he seemed to know what had happened, the elephant was slipping along the bank's sludge and he fell into the muddy pool. While sliding into the pit was easy, getting out would prove to be exceedingly difficult. By the time local community members discovered the elephant, he was severely dehydrated and exhausted. The earth had also dried significantly in the hot heat, which effectively trapped him in the thick mud. They didn't know how much time this poor elephant had left. The community knew that if they wanted to save the poor animal's life, they would have to act fast. So they leapt into action, trying to come up with a game plan in order to pull him out before it was too late. Meanwhile, as the sun baked the earth, the mud was becoming more and more dry. The locals assumed that the elephant hadn't had water in several hours, which guaranteed death in the blistering African heat. Thankfully, rescuers were able to provide some relief while they tried to come up with a plan. They brought over container after container of water, both to keep the elephant cool and to give him something to drink. After giving the poor animal some water, it was time for the tough part. The Luo Wildlife Conservancy enlisted the help of Save the Elephants, Northern Rangelands Trust, and several community members to rescue the distressed pachyderm. Right away, they got to work. Thankfully, there were more volunteers than anyone expected, and they brought with them plenty of supplies. Everyone was eager to work together to help the bull elephant. It was a good thing that there were so many rescuers too, because this bull elephant was a big one. There was no way manpower alone could pull him out. In addition to the rescuers, they had several ropes and 3 cars at their disposal. They also had 25 gallons of water to keep the elephant cool and hydrated. You would think that with this kind of equipment and manpower that it would have been easy to get the elephant to freedom, but that wasn't the case. It took 4 excruciating hours of pulling and digging just to free the gigantic elephant from the mud. Thankfully, their efforts were not in vain. The joint team managed to get him out and he walked away, the Luo Wildlife Conservancy reported happily. It was the best possible outcome to the situation. But there was just one fear. Was the elephant too weak and injured to carry on? Despite being stranded in hot, thick mud in the desert heat for 4 hours, the elephant seemed to sustain no major injuries despite being dehydrated. It was a miracle that he was able to be rescued at all. The rescuers even managed to tag him afterward. Although the elephant wandered off after his rescue, tagging him meant the conservancy staff would be able to check on his health later. When veterinarians found him the following day, he seemed to be doing quite well. It was incredibly fortunate that a group of locals saw what was happening and didn't hesitate to leap into action to save this creature's life. He might not be able to express his thanks in words, but everyone knew he felt it. There was no way that those rescuers were going to give up on the poor, struggling elephant. They didn't care what it took and how difficult it may have been. They wouldn't rest until the creature was safe. Caring for elephants meant that much to them. While it certainly wasn't an easy rescue, these people knew they had to try. Pulling a fully grown elephant from thick mud was certainly a challenge, but with sheer will and determination, and with the help of some heavy-duty ropes, they managed to do it. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it with someone who may find it interesting. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.